Hello and welcome to Shop Talk with Dan the Man. Today's video we're going to talk about this. This is a product by MICROJIG. It's called the GR-RIPPER. This is their 100 series product. You can get different levels, different models of this product. But in today's video we're going to talk about this as a push block and how it bypasses all other push sticks that you've used before and present. So let's jump into that now.
Hello, if you're new to this channel, my name is Dan Shannon. I enjoy woodworking as a hobby and being out in the shop. On this channel, dive deep into my shop as we explore tools and tool reviews, as well as chatting about everything related to woodworking. If this grabs you by the tool belt, please subscribe to my channel if you want more videos like this.
Hello and welcome back to Shop Talk with Dan the Man. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, thanks for coming back. I also wanted to share a recent milestone that I have. I recently just got my 1,000 subscribers. So thumbs up to you guys for watching and appreciate your views and watching my channel weekly. So let's jump into today's video. So this is a push block system from MICROJIG. It's called the GR-RIPPER. And this is their 100 series. They have a 200 series and multiple add-ons that you can get for this product. This is the GR-100 model, and this is your manual you get with the box. And everything's included in the box, directions on how to put this together, how to assemble it. Once you get it, it comes apart, handles off it, the side plate, the middle piece, and you have to assemble it. It's really easy. They've developed really good instructions in this book on how to set up your MICROJIG the way that they recommend, and also there's customization to how you would like it set up as well. So let's jump into the features and then we'll slide into some hands-on, and then I'll throw some final thoughts in there. So let's jump into features. Alright, so let's go over the features of this push block. So you're going to notice right away we have a few adjustments on this push block that you can control depending on the stock that you're pushing through, how thin it is, how thick it is, and of course how close it is to the blade. So there's many adjustments on this push block to make it safe and to make it very accurate when you're pushing the stock through your saw. So the first thing you're going to notice is this stabilizer piece on the side. Well, what that is intended for is, if you notice how thick your stock is, this keeps the stabilizer from not being rocky as you put it through the blade. So if you were to have your stabilizer up all the way and you had it on the board and it was hanging over the edge slightly, you notice there's lots of rock there, and that's very unsafe with your stock and also the edging. So you're going to want to put the stabilizer down all the way. That way, when you have it tight up against your stock that you're putting through your blade, it keeps it from teetering, and then you're going to want to tighten up your adjustments. So when you slide it through the blade, it will keep your material nice and planted, and also keep the push block steady so it doesn't rock. So this middle section, you'll notice, is able to be moved back and forth. So depending on what you're cutting through your blade, you can change the location of the middle piece. So I'll give you an example of that. Slide your fence over, you have your material down, and then you lock it in place. So if I want to run this stock through exactly like that, you'll notice as I get closer that this block will be right in line with the blade. Well, that's not a good thing, because obviously it will wreck your jig, and also too, it's not safe. So what you're going to want to do on the bottom side is loosen both sides, and that will slide over. You can see there's a track in the front, and you just move that right over to where it needs to be. In this case, we can have quite a bit between the blade and the side, so you just adjust that accordingly. It's also good just to try it over the blade itself, just to kind of see where it's going to be sitting. The newer ones actually have a little tape on the front, so that gives you an idea from the fence to the blade where this would actually go. But you want to make sure it's stabilized on the material, as well as not having an impact with the blade. So I could slide it all the way over there. That's a good amount. If I had it too far this way, it would interfere with the blade. So it's a good spot there. So I'm just going to tighten these front and back adjustments, and then that way when I run the material through, as you can see, there's no impact underneath this push block with the blade. You also want to make sure your blade is not too tall. In this case, you can see once the stabilizer, you also have stock under there, so it's not going to be tippy once the material is there. But you can tell my blade's not even close to the bottom of this. That's another thing you want to be aware of. But this will be sitting on the stock, so your height is obviously going to change based on the stock that's being put through the blade. So you don't really have to worry about that too much, but just make sure it's not too far above the stock, or else it will catch on the inside. Any other adjustments on this that you can make? This particular model is the 100 series. This is pretty much it for adjustments. Like I said, you got your middle piece here that you can slide back and forth in the track, which is very easy to do. And you get multiple, as you can see there, there's multiple spots where that can go. And of course, when you're cutting close to the fence, you can go very close. Your blade can be just on the inside of that. So you can get a really thin cut. I think this about 1/4 inch is the thinnest you can cut on this device. So that's really well done for this particular push block. And any other adjustments, you want to make sure, this is kind of a maintenance thing, that your pad at the end of the day, this green rubberized pad, is always cleaned. You can use rubbing alcohol just to make sure you keep continuous grip on your material as it goes through. If you notice there's sawdust or buildup over time, just make sure that's clean, so you get a nice grip when you slide this through. I do have 2 of these on hand, so if I have a longer piece of stock, I can use 2 of them to slide it all the way through. So one on the front and one on the back side as I carry it through the blade. So I did get 2 of these. These are both the 100 series. And to dive into that a little further, we can jump into the hands-on, and I can show you a real example of kind of the placement of this and how it works on the saw. So let's jump into that now, the hands-on. Okay, so let's do a hands-on of this push block, and I will show you firsthand how well this push block works. So the first thing you want to do is take your stock, whatever you might be cutting, bring it alongside the tooth of your blade. Make sure that your blade is adjusted the right way. So you're going to want to double check. I'm going to raise it up slightly. You just want to make sure the carbide, maybe 1/4 inch, give or take, is above the stock. You don't want it too high. So after you get the height set, you're going to want to take your material, push it up against the fence, make sure you have the width that you want to take off your material, and then you'll have your gripper, your push block. So what you want to do is loosen this balancing plate on the side. Your push block up against the fence, slide your stabilizer arm down, tighten up the stabilizer arm, and then you're going to want to bring the gripper in front of the blade, and you're going to want to see where this centerpiece is going to catch. So you're going to notice right now it's interfering with the blade, so that's a big no. It's not gonna work. So what I need to do is change this centerpiece. So I'm just going to loosen the back and the front side. I'm going to slide that all the way over, and then I'm going to clamp it down. Now, it doesn't have to be all the way over. You can kind of gauge where it's going to fit. Right there is fine. I also want to make sure it's quite stable. So the closer I can go to the blade, the better, but you don't want to go too close. So that's more than enough room for me to get the blade under there. So I'm just going to tighten both sides. See, it's nice and secure. So now I have my push block all set up. This is exactly where I need it. It goes over top of the blade. There's no interference. I got my stabilizer arm pushed down. Perfect. So that's all set up. So now I can pull my stock back, have my gripper all on it. I just wanted to give you a note of why I went into this push block system. The old school push sticks, we'll use this one as an example. The reason why I looked into getting this and bought it in the end was a lot of times when you're using a push stick to run through, it's not keeping force against the fence and down on your material. If you have it at the back side, it wants to make the stock deviate from its proper track, and there's only so much pressure you can do on this, whereas this it's right down on your stock, so there's no way to keep it from wandering, whereas here it's more of a pivot point. It can actually move the material away from the blade. So that's why I thought, why not give this a try? It also changes the issue with the push stick. You can get nicer push sticks. These are all handmade that keep that force down, but is not as good as this one. And one thing I will say, it does take a while to get used to putting your hand over the blade as you're going through, because for all the years I've done carpentry, I've never put my hand, you're told never ever to put your hand near the blade. So this takes a little bit to get used to, and I'll cover that a little bit further on in the final thoughts. So let's jump into this and see how well it cuts. You're going to bring your material back, and as you're going through, you want to keep this centered and just run it through. So a smaller board like this, I can put it roughly in the middle just to keep control on either end. Longer board, I would grab my second and have it in the back, so as I'm going through, you can either rotate or keep it on depending on how long the board is. You just want to keep that pressure down on it. So let's fire this up and show you what it can do. So it's just that easy to cut your stock with this MICROJIG push block, the gripper. You just run it through, and depending on the length on the back of the saw, you can actually grab your boards and bring them back around. But if they fall on the floor, or if you have a table an extension, that's even better of a setup. But yeah, that gives you an idea of how easy that was to cut. Once again, you just make sure it's lined up and not going to affect your blade with these underside adjustments, and then you just run it through. So hopefully that was a good example for you with this blade and setup on the saw. And so yeah, let's jump into some final thoughts on this jig and what it's all about. Okay, so the final thoughts that I had with this Pushblock, let's be honest, it's new, it's different, it's nothing I've used before. I've had it for 3 months, and the awkwardness of putting your hand over the blade, if you're a long time woodworker, it's different. It's not normal for your hand to go over top your blade. So let's be honest, anyone that's done carpentry for any length of time realizes this is a weird sensation. You're told your entire life, never ever put your hands near the blade, never ever put your hand over top of the blade, any of that. Stay away, use something that's going to take the bite, not your hand. Always use a push stick, always use something, which is true. These push sticks for years, pretty much my whole life actually, when I've done carpentry, I've always used these push sticks, and there's different forms. There's this one, there's this back one that keeps you know, a hold on the back of the material, which is nice, and all these work really well, but they're not 100%. And after having this for 3 months and using it a fair bit for different projects, I've realized what I was missing, which is this gripper. This is an amazing product. You feel real safe when you run material through. It keeps it stabilized. It's not moving on you as it goes through. You're confident that you're continuing the stock. Whereas the push stick, like I said earlier, on the back side, it could cause it to move out slightly. You could use this one to keep more weight or more push down on the stock itself, but at the end of the day, it's not near as good as this one. And after only owning it for such a short period of time, I can really give it high praise. But like I said, once again, I can't iterate this enough. Going over top of the blade is weird. You're not alone. It's definitely a weird thing to do for a product. But at the end of the day, if it gives you safety, if it helps with the kickback, because when you do the follow through, if everything weight-wise is stuck on the stock, at the end of the day, if that board is doing what it needs to do and it's not going to fire back at you, then it's done its job and it works incredible. So to me, I'm giving it 5 out of 5 stars for quality. It's built very well, very durable, long lasting. They get a warranty on it, so you can fill out on their website when you purchase one of these. I got this on Amazon, but their website sells them as well. I'll put a link below if you want to purchase one yourself, Amazon and their website. But yeah, my takeaway is a phenomenal product. You can get the 200 series, which has extra add-ons, and there's actually a video you should watch by he's a YouTuber, 731 Woodworks. Phenomenal guy. He does lots of hands-on with tools and tool reviews, and he's just a wealth of knowledge. I watch his channel quite often, so just check him out. He's gone and talked to the guy that supplies these products, and just a great video to watch for follow-up on the different models and what you get in the package. So thanks again for watching today's video. Please give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't already and you'd like to be part of the Shop Talk family, please click on the link below to be part of that. We'd love to have you on board for this video and any future videos I have coming out. So thanks again for watching, and just remember, it doesn't matter how big or how small your shop is, just get out and enjoy it, build a project, cut, work with your tools, and think especially about your table saw and having the proper safety gear. These are great, but I must say this hands down is way better and way safer at the end of the day. And who doesn't want to keep their fingers, right? So have yourself a great day, and I will see you on the next one.